Hello and welcome to another Israeli Frenemies. As always, I'm Uri Zaki representing the Israeli left in this show. But unlike always, we don't have Mai Golan today who doesn't feel well and she had to stay at home. But replacing her, we have today Dr. Mordechai Kedar from the Bar Ilan University, an expert on Middle Eastern studies. Hi, Dr. Kedar.
Nice to be here.
Good to have you here. How was your week?
Well, I started this week in France, Paris. I just landed. Apparently, French people want to know more about the Middle East, so they invited me after they are fed up with all kinds of slogans, which leads them nowhere.
Okay, so we'll have a chance also to have some debates about what's going on here and elsewhere. And I suggest we'll go directly to the first topic of this. So there's a famous rock song in Israel called Messiah Doesn't Come, Messiah Doesn't Call Either. There was this concept in the Israeli right when President Trump was elected that the messianic days have arrived and Israel would get, or the right-wing government would get a carte blanche to build in settlements. And out of a sudden, we hear this famous word from the Obama administration, freezing settlements. Freezing settlements. That's what we heard this week, that apparently Mr. Greenblatt, the special envoy of President Trump to the peace between Israel and the Palestinians, demanded Israel to stop building in the settlements in order to engage in peace talks with the Palestinians. I am really happy about this development. I think there won't be any resuming of negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians without freezing the settlements. And I must say that I'm also happy that those who thought that it's going to be a major shift between the last administration and the current administration are proven wrong. And President Trump, like any American president, has to make Israel stop the settlements in order to re-engage peace talks.
Well, let me tell you something. First of all, I don't like the concept of settlement because don't forget that according to our neighbors and our enemies who are the same, Tel Aviv is no less a settlement, and Haifa is a settlement, and Be'er Sheva and Carmiel. And let me tell you something, New York is a settlement, and Denver is a settlement, and San Francisco is a settlement, because all these new developments are new developments by definition. This is why I don't accept the fact that these communities on Judea and Samaria, which is the birthbed of the Jewish nation, you as well, are settlements, means illegal. I don't accept it. And unfortunately, Trump, like others, who do not understand anything about the Middle East, do not understand anything about the discourse of the Middle East, how people think in the Middle East, because they don't listen to Arabic, because they don't speak Arabic. And they actually fall in this trap of the Arab world because they think that if only Israel will stop building in the communities which were built in Judea and Samaria after 1967, peace will come. They don't understand that as long as we Jews are here in the land of Israel, peace will never come. I'll tell you why. I'll show you why. I'll show you why.
Can I respond?
Wait a minute. You see this? This is what the Palestinians show around. And this is by the PLO, not by Hamas. This is the flag of the PLO. On one side, they say, Al-Quds lana. Jerusalem is ours. Since when? But never mind. But on the other side, they show Palestine entirely. So where is Israel? And this is the PLO, our friends, our partners for negotiations.
May I respond?
And this, wait, this is their dream.
Okay,
Okay,
no, but with all due respect, we have this show. We have 5 minutes to each topic, and there is a conversation.
Your time.
Thank you so much. First of all, in all maps I studied here in Israel. I was born and raised here in Haifa. In all our maps in schools, we had only Israel. Even after the Oslo Accord, there's nothing. There's no mentioning of the green line. Excuse me, sir. There's no green line. There's only Israel. So that's mutual. There's no question. that Judea and Samaria and all these places on the mountain are the cradle of the Jewish civilization. There's also no question that Jaffa and other places which are now part of Israel are the cradle of the Palestinian civilization. There's no question about that. The question is how you make a peace accord and how do you settle. And there won't be any peace with the Palestinians without an agreed upon solution that would include a Palestinian state built on the same territory that was occupied since 1967. And you say it's the same, that Tel Aviv and New York and Ramallah and Hebron are the same. But according to international law, and according to Israeli law, and according to American law, this is an occupied territory. It's the sovereign in Ramallah is the Israeli Defense Forces. There's martial law there in all this territory, unlike in Tel Aviv, unlike in Haifa, unlike in Jaffa, and unlike in New York.
Well, I don't know where you learned the international law, but don't forget
in law school.
The basis of the international law was made after the First World War, in the agreements which closed that war, including the San Remo agreements, which actually designated this land to the Jewish people. And it's mentioned by name, Jewish people, not any Palestinian people, which was unknown, which not the Arabs, Jewish people. And this is the basis. And this idea was adopted by the United Nations as well in 1945. And this is why the international law actually supports the Jewish demand to this land, first of all. Secondly, don't forget that peace in the Middle East is given only to the invincible, not to somebody who crawls, asks for peace, and gives concessions.
I really need to respond to this. First of all, after what you say, there was the partition plan that, according to it,
which the Arabs refused.
But it's still there.
No.
If you go to there, but that's not international law. You're an expert in Middle East, not in law. I have. So we're going to discuss now, in a sense, a continuation of the last topic we discussed, but I know you have a vision on how you can solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I would just say that, first of all, it's not a question of law. I think, and I now understand that even this administration in the United States understands, in order to have peace here, which is the basis of our security, of our existence here, continuing controlling the lives of 2.5 million Palestinians and the territory. You can't give people just talk about the people and exclude the territory. It's not democratic. In order for Israel to stay the Jewish homeland, national homeland, and a democracy, you need to have a Palestinian state next to Israel. There's no way to bypass that. Once the settlement or once the country would be divided into two political entities, it will be hard for many people. On the other hand, it gives a real chance to save the Zionist enterprise, which in its heart was, first of all, sovereignty, and will maintain that, because right now we are controlling directly a majority that is not Jewish. And if you don't give them the right to vote, then that's not a democratic state. If you give them the right to vote, then it's no longer a Jewish state. We're doomed. And I think that's a step we have to take, and I'm glad that the current American administration, even the current American administration, understands that.
Well, do you have any guarantee that the Palestinian state will never turn into another Hamastan?
You're asking me?
No, you don't have.
Okay.
Nobody has, because Hamas already won the elections of 2006. They can do it again and become another Hamastan, or by coup d'etat, as they did in Gaza. In 2007, 10 years ago, And so you'll find yourself near another Hamastan, which is a strategic threat on the mere existence of the state of Israel. So by creating a Palestinian state on the hills of Judea and Samaria, you actually embed a bomb inside Israel. And this is what the Israeli left want to create. And I was there. Right. And, right. The only solution, therefore, is something which is based on the sociology of the Arab world. Roughly saying, the Arab world is divided to two kinds of states: failing states and successful states. The failing states are conglomerates of tribes, ethnic groups, religious groups, and sectarian groups like Iraq, Syria, Libya, Sudan, Yemen, all these failing states. And what we see today, all the 6 years, which is more the obvious, this is the result of the fact that there is no Iraqi nation, there is no Syrian nation, there is no Yemenite nation. They're all divided and fragmented along tribal, ethnic, religious or sectarian lines. And this is the failing states of the Middle East. While the Emirates, which you see now on the TV, are successful, rich. Not because of the oil. Dubai has no oil. Only because there are homogeneous societies built on the tradition of the tribe, of the Arab tribe. And I can elaborate this for hours. And what I call to do is to emulate the Emirate solution also with the Palestinians who are very tribal. This is why we need an Emirate in Hebron for the tribes of Hebron, an Emirate in Ramallah for the tribes of Ramallah, an Emirate in Jericho, another one in Nablus, Jenin, Tulkarim, Kalkilia, in addition to...
find oil there.
Right. In addition, Dubai has no oil. And Dubai is the richest country in the world almost. And in addition to the Emirate of Gaza, which is functioning for 10 years already, and it's stable. Internally, it's stable. This is why sociology in the Middle East is much more important than people think. And unfortunately, people, neither in Israel nor in the United States, they understand nothing about sociology of the Arab world. We have to go along the sociology rather than the politics or dreams about nations which do not exist. Because since there is no Syrian nation, no Iraqi nation, no Yemenite nation, and no Libyan nation, no Sudan nation, I have a big question if there is a Palestinian nation.
Dr. Kedar, I respect the fact that you have it all figured out. First of all, I don't think to say to the Palestinians, ignore your nationality. They have a strong national identity. It's Palestinian. You brought here the Palestinian flag. You know, I can find a Palestinian scholar would have a lot of sense saying, why shouldn't there be Emirates, you could call it something else, here in Israel? There is such a gap between Tel Aviv, for instance, and Jerusalem. Jerusalem is religious, it's right-wing, it's very different. And Tel Aviv is a free city, liberal, left-wing leaning. You can implement that also to the United States. You can say, why shouldn't be, there was a call for a free California, free Texas. You can say that about every country. The Palestinians, if you want to achieve something with them, I'm not sure you do want to, but if you do want to do something with them, you need to respect that they have a national identity. They have a national leadership. I have, don't patronize me. I know Palestinians very well. I have 20 years of experience.
How is your Arabic?
So this week, Prime Minister Netanyahu was in China, doing, promoting Israeli Chinese relationship and business and everything, a good thing. But from there, there's this strong debate within the coalition, and he's threatening to go to early elections on one issue, something that he's almost possessed about, and that's the Israeli media. Netanyahu feels that he needs to control the media because the media is left-leaning and criticizing him too much. My take on that is, first, it's crazy to go to elections on such an issue, but I will very much welcome new elections because I think Netanyahu's time is up, and it's good that he'll ask again the trust of the Israeli people. I don't think he'll get it. But in any case, this concept that a prime minister wants to control the media and stopping criticizing him is crazy. Netanyahu enjoys unprecedented control over the media. He has the most popular newspaper in Israel, most read one, basically in his pocket. He has a TV channel now, and he has many followers in the Israeli media. He wants it all. And nobody had that. He has Sheldon Adelson bought for him a newspaper, making it his own Pravda, I'm sorry. And I think that's, I don't understand his possession. In a free democracy, you need to have a free media, and free media is said to criticize the government.
Well, free democracy actually is going by law. If whatever he's doing is by the law, it is legal. If he is against the law, it is illegal. And unfortunately, the left, after the left lost the elections, and now the right is in the government, the left tries to impose its agenda through the media on the right because they failed in the Knesset and they failed in the elections. As long as the law is with Netanyahu, I think that it's very hard to challenge him. Of course, some people do not like it, but all those who are covering themselves with the law on the left side, they don't like the right to do the same thing. And this is the problem with the Israeli left.
Okay, look, whatever Erdogan is doing in Turkey is legal. He's changing the law. Whatever Putin is doing in Russia is legal because he's changing the law. The question is not only the technicality of the legislation, but also the essence of it and the values behind it. And I don't think a free media is a lefty concept. I think it's a democratic concept. I don't think Menachem Begin, who was the first right-wing prime minister here in Israel, would never even imagine something like that. He understands, he had a strong commitment to democracy. I don't think Yitzhak Shamir never would have ever thought of something like that. We have now a new wave of authoritarian leaders in democracies who are exploiting democracy in order to create regimes. And I think, unfortunately, Netanyahu is heading that way.
Well, you do have a point by equating it with other countries. And maybe the leftist idea all over the world is on bankruptcy because the leftist idea actually brought Europe to the end of its civilization by allowing all this influx of others. Maybe Turkey today is on a struggle to remain as it was, maybe Russia as well, I don't know. But what you point out, that in many countries, the left actually is in a defense, maybe the leftist ideas, the liberal ideas,
don't you?
Maybe the leftist ideas led the world to a chaos, as you see today in Western Europe. Look at France, look at Germany, look at Holland.
Germany is ruled by a right-wing party.
Yes, but what happened with the immigration, which the left actually advocated for?
So this issue, I hope we might have agreement about, but I don't know. I haven't heard your opinion about it. And what I want to discuss today is this new attempt by the Minister of the Police in Israel, Mr. Gilad Arden, to open a registration of Israeli citizens who are supportive of boycotting Israel. He wants, I want to repeat that, he wants to do something which is very similar to what Senator McCarthy did back in the 50s, something like to have internal espionage against Israeli citizens. So far, fortunately enough, the Advocate General of Israel said that's illegal and non-democratic, and he can't do it. But I think the mere concept that the Minister of Police is adopting policies that are equivalent to really the darkest regimes we had, I completely disagree with calling boycotting of Israel. I do think that boycotting the settlements is something that definitely can be done. But in any case, I think a democracy needs to give the freedom of speech, the freedom of thought, the freedom of assembly to all its citizens, and nowhere in a democracy can a government supervise, have this police, and pretty soon we'll have snitches about what people think. I think this incitement, this mere idea is crazy, and I think it's not democratic, and I think it shows where the Netanyahu government is heading.
Well, first of all, I think that this list is dispensable, because everybody can go to Google at any time and Google any name and see what this man did or said or published or whatever. So that's why it's totally unnecessary in the today, the technology of today, which enables everyone to know everybody, everything about everybody in every given minute. This is one thing. However, I once was dealing with academics, Israeli academics, who go around the world and call upon the world, universities, governments, organizations, to boycott Israel, to divest from Israel, and to sanction Israel, BDS. And this is something outrageous. Why? Because those academics are actually getting salary from the Israeli government through the universities. And they are going to the world and call upon the world to boycott Israel, which pays their salary. This is something which is totally against any logic. Because if you have a company and you find out that one of your workers is going to other companies to boycott your company, means the company which you get your salary, you will get kicked out, and according to any court, and nobody will give you anything because it does. And this is something which definitely the state should not allow academics or many others who go and getting Israeli salary, who live on Israeli salary. Look, if they think that Israel is a state which they cannot tolerate, they should go, okay, the gates is open. Everybody can live in France, and can live in England if they cannot agree with what happens here. But to get the Israeli salary and to go and call upon the world to boycott Israel, this is too much.
Really, Dr. Kedar, I wonder, where do you stop that? Because, you know, there are rabbis, city rabbis, town rabbis, neighborhood rabbis, who get their salary from the state of Israel and who call upon killing infant Gentiles because it's okay. There was this book.
It maybe happened once.
No, it happens all the time when you have rabbis saying crazy stuff. Look, you can't go into, and you know, as you said, a lefty and everything, a liberal leader, I called that when even this particular case came, I said, you cannot arrest this person. I'm not sure you can make this person getting a salary, but you know, if you have a problem with someone's point of view, debate them. Okay, so we have this, Dr. Kedar, even Mai Golan and myself who fight here every week find this time to find a good word about what happened in Israel this week, what happened in the world, perhaps in sports, anything. I will dedicate my good word this week to you, because I was happy to have you here. We had a very interesting debate, different than the ones I have with Mai every week, and so thank you for you to come here. And what happened good this week for you?
Look, I was asked about the Israeli left when I was in France. I said that the Israeli left actually is the godfather of this country, because the Labour Party, or the Labour movement actually, was the builder and the founder of this country. They were fighting for the country. So nobody can say really that there's something genetic problematic with the Israeli left. There are some deviations in the modern times, but genetically, the left is okay. And you know what? Let me tell you something very frankly. When I got released from the army in 1995,
but we need to wrap it up, so right? Very quickly.
I joined a peace organization named Netivot Shalom, which is a religious and small sister of Shalom Achshav. I saw that it leads to nowhere, so I went to somewhere else.
To the point, Dr. Kedar?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I don't know, with such a blessing, I'm not sure it's a curse or a blessing, but I will accept it with love. So that's it for this week's Israel Frenemies. Again, thank you, Dr. Kedar, and I hope Mai Golan will be here next week. See you next week.